Hello everybody, welcome today on this video, and today I have another fantastic guest, someone who represented his country on the Olympic Games, Winter Olympic Games to be specific, and Nicholas Timmings. Nicholas, can you please tell us how the journey started and how did it all start for you? Well, before you represented Australia on the Olympic Games.
Hello, thank you for having me. So I competed in Beijing for Australia in the sport of skeleton. And skeleton's like a sliding sport, like similar to bobsled and luge. So we slide down an icy track. And I got started in 2012, so 10 years ago now. And I actually got recruited through athletics. So Australia was doing a talent ID kind of camp and testing day, and I heard about it, and I tried out for that testing camp. My results were pretty good, and that's how it started. I was invited over to New York to give it a go, and yes, ever since then I love the sport, and it's taken me all the way to now 2022, and fortunately enough I was able to qualify for the Winter Olympics.
Fantastic. So you're saying it was all by accident? You just decided to join because, well, it was something new and something fun?
So I knew a couple of winter sport athletes. So I had a high school PE teacher who went to the Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympics in bobsled. So I kind of knew about the sliding sports, and at the time I was playing soccer and athletics, and I had a couple of injuries in soccer actually. So I was going maybe through a bit of a transition period where I thought, could I make it to the next level in soccer? And then this opportunity came up, and I thought, why not give it a go? Like I might as well take this opportunity to see if it fits and works out. And I'm really glad I did. Really glad I made the switch. And since then it's been skeleton.
Fantastic. So, well, tell me, because among all the successes that you have, you actually did represent country during the Olympic Games, and well, being there, it's a dream for many athletes. How did it feel back then? How did you feel competing during the Olympic Games and well, being among the best of the best?
It's probably the most stressful thing I've ever done, competing at Olympic Games. But it's just like literally unreal. I can't, like, sometimes you're just standing there and you can't really put words to what you're feeling. So just really surreal, really unreal. I felt very privileged to be there, and it was just an amazing atmosphere to be, like you said, surrounded just by all these athletes who'd given just as much as I had, and got to that top level. And it was a bit unfortunate with COVID and some of the restrictions at the time, but nonetheless, it was just an amazing experience, and one thing I'll never forget.
Well, so how does it feel right now? Is it still the same feeling when you uh, today talk about this and thinking about your participation right now?
Definitely less stress at the moment, coming back to Australia and being back in normal life. So less stress. I think there's a lot more pride now. I feel a lot of pride in myself for having done that and having accomplished it.
Definitely.
Rather than back then. Yeah, rather than back then when it was kind of stress and anxiety, and it was like kind of like game time. Like we've got to go now. Like all the hard work and prep is peaking towards this event. So I think stepping back and having a bit of time to process it all, it's more of a proud moment than the kind of game time moment, I guess, back then at the actual Olympics.
Definitely. And you mentioned the hard work. Well, of course, competing at the Olympic Games means that you did a lot of hard work. And in your case, it wasn't just that. I know that you needed to pay extra price, let's call this, to join the Olympic Games. Can you tell us more about the financial side of your participation in the Winter Olympic Games?
Yeah, so unfortunately, because Australia is such a summer dominant sport, there's not a lot of funding for the winter disciplines, and skeleton in particular. We don't really have. There's no like program, so we don't have managers, we don't have coaches, and yeah, so there's no funding involved. So pretty much the last 10 years, and for me to get to the Winter Olympics, it's been about 95% self-funded. So I've had to have a job in the off season and save as much money as I could, and then yeah, just pay for everything, pay for
Mm.
flights, accommodation, car hire, even race fees. Yeah, so just having to have a job and save money to be actually having to compete. Coaching was another one as well. So because we didn't have coaching, I had to hire my own international coach, which was very expensive.
Mm.
Luckily, I teamed up with some other athletes from other smaller nations, but yeah, that was another expense on top of it all. But yeah, like I said, got there in the end, and very proud of myself.
Fantastic. So, why did you do it actually, despite the financial cost? Because it went out of your own pocket.
Yeah, I think just the love of the sport.
Mhm.
Obviously, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't like the actual sport. So the love of the sport, and I think I really enjoyed traveling and competing. I'm a very competitive person, so obviously, if I didn't have that competitiveness, I wouldn't feel the need to, put so much of my life and so much of my time into it. So I think just the love of the sport, getting to travel, getting to compete for Australia, yeah, was the real love. And I've always wanted to see how far I could take my physical ability and see where my sport could take me. So yeah, that was the real motivator in pushing through and yeah, doing the hard work and yeah, paying for everything myself.
So, if you could turn back time, would you have done it again?
Yeah, I would do it again. I think there's a couple of things I would change. Like I said, I had to hire my own coach, and I could really only afford him for the last couple of seasons. So maybe if I were to do it again, I would try find the money to hire the coach for maybe a couple more years before that.
Mm.
So maybe I could improve quicker and yeah, be a better athlete. But yeah, as far as spending the money to actually compete goes, I would do it again. But yeah, I would try maybe do it a bit more efficiently and yeah, maybe try hunt sponsors a bit more and yeah, put more time and energy into that. But yeah, I would do it again.
Well, so hearing that, how you talk about what you have done, what would you have done differently? I must ask, are you going to do it again?
So I'm not gonna do any competitive racing this season. I might do some training, so just to keep relevant within the sport and keep my skills up. But no racing this year. But yeah, I would like to go to the next Winter Olympics in Milan.
Fantastic. So you're right on track. You're not competing right now, but you're doing the training, and you started already preparation for next Winter Olympic Games. Yes.
So yeah, keeping fit at the moment, still doing running and still getting in the gym. So just keeping the body physically fit at the moment. But yeah, my main focus at the moment is trying to get more funding for the next 4 years. So yeah, that's the kind of main priority at the moment. I'm not too focused on racing, like I said. Yeah, just keeping
Yes.
the body fit and looking for those funding opportunities to last for 4 years. So can really give the next quad a really good crack.
Okay. So after what you just said, you actually needed to, well, get funding for competing last time. Now you're thinking about, well, you're planning to complete again. You're not thinking of it. You're planning it already. And well, that's again a lot of money that you need to save to do it. And it's quite difficult to work to support yourself and to save extra money to compete to do sport. What about your friends and family and friends in that situation? Are they supporting you in any way on the way to the Olympics?
Yeah, so friends and family were pretty much the reason I could compete at the last Olympics and could do the seasons previous to that. I had to rely on my family a lot. They gave me a lot of money. I was living at home to save money. Yeah, mum and dad were very supportive. Actually, when I was at the Olympics, I couldn't pay one of my coaching bills, so my dad had to quickly transfer me $2,000 to be able to pay that. So yeah, they've always been there instantly to be able to help me. So that's kind of my goal now, is to not have to rely on my family and friends like that again to be able to compete. So that's why I'm trying to find these funding opportunities, just so I don't have to, yeah, put them under pressure and put myself under so much pressure to just even be able to compete. So yeah, they've been vital in my success so far, and yeah, I definitely wouldn't have got to the Olympics without them.
Fantastic. It's very good to hear, very good to know that well, the family and friends stood right by you and supported you. Not all the stories that I hear are that positive, but tell me, it's well, as well is in the world of sports, every single person goes through a difficult situation at some point of life, and they have tough decisions to make. Well, you sacrificed a lot already. You had some support. That's very good. But along the way, with everything coming at the same time, especially right before and during the Olympic Games, how did you stay sane on that journey?
Yeah, like you said, yeah, you do get, especially in an individual sport, you do get a lot of ups and downs, and yeah, you do have to pick yourself back up when you're down. And yeah, I found that uh, for me, thinking about that end goal and thinking about, was I finished in the sport, or did I have more to prove? Did I have more that I could improve on? Did I want to keep going? That's kind of the reason I was able to pick myself every time I had a low point. So pretty much just telling myself that I'm not finished yet. I have unfinished business was a real motivator for me. And yeah, as for staying sane during that whole period and at the Olympics, I think for me, having interests in other areas of life and having friends who like aren't sports people, to be able to talk about different things and just day-to-day life and like how they're doing and what they're up to. I think having that other avenue outside of the sport really kept me sane, and it kind of grounds you and gives you perspective that sport isn't everything. There is a life out there. And yeah, so sometimes when I would think like I'm getting too much in my head and thinking about too much of sport, I would be able to kind of get into that world and talk to my friends and family and have other interests, and it would calm me down. It would give me a bit of a break. And yeah, I found every time I did that, I came back to the sport more motivated and yeah, more hungry to train and yeah, give it my all again.
Yeah, well, it's I can clearly see that well, you your family, your friends, they were like an anchor when you were going the downward spiral, and well, putting yourself into all this trouble, they could just hold you up there, and that's fantastic. But it is one of the ways of dealing with stress. But what do you think is generally the best solution to deal with high level of stress?
I think removing yourself from the situation that you're in probably worked best for me. Is yeah, if you're somewhere, say a different country, like you're not having a good day, go for a walk. Uh, Go have something to eat somewhere else. Yeah, just removing yourself completely from that situation and allowing yourself to think about other things is probably the thing that worked best for me. Just relaxing, just resting, really.
Fantastic. It might sound very simple to our listeners, but well, I work with people who are under a lot of pressure. And yes, those simple things, that was very powerful advice, because those simple things that you do when you, like you said, removing yourself from the stressful situation, they actually work really well.
Yeah, I think
So
like you hear a lot of these kind of simple solutions. And yeah, really people keep saying it because they actually do work and they're very effective methods of yeah, like you said, taking the stress away. So yeah, it might sound simple, but when you're in those situations and you actually put it to practice, yeah, you realize how much it actually works and how effective it really is.
definitely. So tell me, we know you compete. You didn't say anything about what you do and how your career unfolds outside of the world of sport. I know, as a matter of fact, that you can speak Japanese, and there is a reason behind this. I know that you've been involved in some uh, well, events, and you've been on the stage already speaking as well. So if someone wanted to follow your career at general and wanted to see how well what you do and how you will grow outside of the world of sports and in the world of sports, where those people can find you? Do you have accounts, profile media, sorry, social media profiles or website where they can find you?
Yeah, so the main ones I use are Instagram. So n.timmings is my Instagram handle. And probably the other one is LinkedIn. So Nicholas Timmings on LinkedIn. So yeah, I'd say those are the two ones I check the most. LinkedIn and Instagram. And yeah, you can follow my journey there. And yeah, those are the ones I update the most.
Fantastic. So what I'm going to do, it's below this video, down in the description, I'm going to add the links to your profiles so people can find you and well, just get in touch with you if they wanted to ask any questions or maybe cooperate with you somehow. Maybe you'll find a sponsor for next Olympic Games. I
Yeah,
hope
that'll
you
be
will.
amazing. Hopefully.
But well, before we finish our today interview, I wanted to ask one more question. Nicholas, tell me one piece of advice, just one thing that you could give to a young person who decided to be professional athlete.
I would say find the right reasons that you're wanting to go into a certain path. So find your reasons. Don't let it be someone else telling you that you should go into this, you should be doing this. It could be even parents, friends, anyone else. Don't let them tell you what you should be doing. So find your reason to do the sport or do whatever really in life. And I think if you've got a good enough reason, you'll have the motivation and you'll go the furthest. So find the reasons why you do what you love, and the motivation, it'll come easy after that. So yeah, find your passion really.
Fantastic. It's another very simple and very powerful advice that we hear from you today. It is important. Well, so guys, thank you very much for watching. Nicholas, thank you very much for being here and sharing all those advices. Well, especially the one with following your heart, basically, because that's very important. Thanks again, and well, I'm hoping to see you on another interview at some point. Thanks a lot. Good luck, and see you soon.
Thank you for having me.